Today is 2 months and 6 years later, but I thought I would share with you the 20th through the 29th of the 9th month of 1431. I think really the 19th through the 1st of the 10th month, but Aeitikaaf fil masjid Annoowr, 1431. Seclusion, 2010. In the past, I have focused on the theology and other aspects of Aeitikaaf. For this year's tale of the seclusion in the place of prostration, I will tell only of this year's practices and experiences of it. I grabbed the last of what I needed to take and left for retreat at 7:42 p.m., Monday, August 30th, 2010. I broke fast along the way with yellow gong root tea at 7:53 Pacific Standard Time. So I guess this retreat did start on the 20th. I tried to start at least a few minutes before. I arrived at Masjid Annoowr approximately 20 minutes later. I set my empty bottle down up front, wiped off my shoe with water, and joined those praying Maghrib Salat, for what was to be the next 42 obligatory prayers in congregation. As we don't fast out of self-mortification, we always went downstairs to eat and drink what we were to eat in the first half of the night. The way we are taught is to pay extra attention to eating wholesome food. I must admit, this can be especially difficult during Ramadan. As dusk fell each night, the initial prayer call was sounded, and we prayed Isha Salat with a larger group than the evening prayers, except the 2 dinners on the weekend. The night of the 20th felt like one of the last 10 of Ramadan, the most rewarding nights of the year. It seems that I can always tell by the end of the 20th night whether or not it will be one of those most special nights. After a couple recommended vows of prayer by ourselves, it was time for Tarawih as-Salat. Okay. Say the verb right. Couple recommended vows of prayer. Oh, wait. Wrong line. The extended prayer was set to be 5 sets of 2 vows each in Vancouver's most sacred spot. It has never been led by the same person all month, unless it was in the 90s. The location of Vancouver's most sacred spot changed to about 2 miles west of the previous spot in 2007. The first night of retreat included Al-Quran 6:45 through 90. As it is the point to sleep right afterwards, I always tried to go to sleep then. Reading or reciting approximate verses, I slept as August 31st came around. I had deeper psychedelic dreams than usual that night. I saw myself deep inside vast places. However, I in no way felt trapped. I woke up in the last half of the night and found no one up for joining me in prayer. I thereby sat to read God's Word for this era. I resolved to read 4 sorts of verses 20 times or so in the state of seclusion. I achieved this goal of reading these sets once in the night and once in the day this time. The set of 22 verses was read 6 times every 24 hours. The prostration verses in 15 passages. I was up that night for a third of the last half of the night between dusk and dawn. I had a goal to use almost all of this last third of those 9 hours, 12 hours night, 12 hours day, in my way of division, sunrise to sunset, sunset to sunrise. For extra prayer and Kronk story. I was only allowed a few hours sleep early enough to do this. Then, only to do this once. But of that, I am grateful. Time has come to say the prayer after sleep. This tahajjud salat was led by me, saying Al-Quran 41 through 45. The suhoor meal was the last activity before dawn these days. We stayed up till after the sun was above the horizon in some states of remembrance of Allah after Salatul Duha prayer of 2 bows, early morning, each by themselves. It was time to sleep again. This is how the collection of sleep in the night and the day played out during the retreat. In total, it was an average of over 2 hours less sleep a night, but I was no less energetic than usual. So, the couple hours I lost today because of the excess yard work, I'm way less energetic. I listened to Al-Quran, Surah 8, 9, 10, and 112 through 114 with the Pickthall translation that day. All the salat prayers of the days and nights of retreat were said in the congregation. The prayer of pauses came in the 21st night of the sacred month. Al-Quran 691 through 146 is what was recited. Something that occurs with the extended prayers is that everyone who does them right has some psychedelic experience. At least their attention focuses. Despite not saying extraordinarily long ones on a regular basis, such things have been an average of more than a daily for me. I hardly see the point in sharing any more of them than is necessary to illustrate variety. September 1st came with more vivid psychedelic dreams than usual. Like unto a ball of twine, there was a sphere of threads. Each thread was a different color, similar to a rainbow. I had more vivid psychedelic dreams than usual, and that was the one worth listing. The pre-dawn prayer after sleep, tahajjud, no, included from Suwar, not Suwar, Suratain, 55 through to Surah 55 through 56. Okay, I'm not talking about prayer. I listened to the Marmaduke Pickthall translation of Al-Quran, Surah 1 and 2, with Abdul Basit's recitation that day. The night of the 22nd came with more joining in the seclusion efforts. The extended prayer included Al-Quran 647 through 751. That was it, with focusing on saying the chapters in order. It was quite apparent that we would not get through the first third of Al-Quran as a group that month. I don't mean to say that we missed out on anything. The efforts in time spent alone were likely equal to many groups who read all 114 suwar that Ramadan. People seem to like the style of who currently is the usual Ramadan Qari. The same one as last few years or so. On September 2nd, different year, 2010, not 2016, clearer psychedelic dreams were had than usual. A more important experience than any months came upon me between 2:45 and 3:30 a.m. Among woven hills there was a tall and dark creature. It was hominid with vents or gills upon its curved, horned head. The head was curvy, but the horns went up and out to the sides at 45 degree angles. So it wasn't quite that curvy horn. I was left with a curious feeling at the sight of this jinn. It was a feeling you'd have to experience to know what I mean. However, such is the same of gnosis of any non-human metaphysical being. I then prayed pre-dawn voluntary prayers in a group with Al-Quran, Surah 59. That day I listened to Surah 3 from the MMP Quran CD. The night of the 23rd had Al-Quran 62 through 67 in its voluntary Nephilim. Prayer of pauses. Tarawih as-Salah. September 3rd brought wonders I can hardly begin to describe. In my soul travel, another way to describe a dream, I saw myself dressed in a green cloak, the color of the day of Friday. As you see, I like to wear green on Friday. Sitting on a mountain, voices could be heard there. I noticed where they were coming from shortly. There was a row of 7 light beings large in the sky. They seemed as large as moons or suns in actual size. The presence was a myriad's myriad. Their light filled from horizon to horizon with blue and white light of a mundane nature. However, their colors were curved and pointed bits like a rainbow of the Malakut, unfallen angel realm. That day, I listened to Muhammad Marmaduke Pickthall's translation of Al-Quran with a recitation of Abdul Basit. The passages covered were Suwar 18, 32, 50, 62, 76, 49, 51, and finally 77. The 24th night of Ramadan included the first 66 verses of Al-Quran, Surah 17, and its prayer of pauses, Tarawih as-Salah. September 4th, 2010, included the dream of wearing a goat hair shirt wearing a goat hair shirt among bright, luscious plants, giving off perfume smells between 1 and 2:45 a.m. From around 3:15 to 4 a.m. I dreamt I was wearing the like and moving in the wind among bright plants. I was only able to join the group for Witcher, the odd-numbered bow prayer, is to be the last voluntary prayer before dawn. Bukhari 453, 340, book, chapter, number, says Muhammad died wearing patched wool. So if that relates to the meaning of what I was wearing. That day, but I don't think it was patched wool during. That day, the listening was with the Pickthall Quran, Suratain 17 and 20. The 25th night came, and we covered the first 82 verses of Al-Quran, Surah 18. From 2 to 3 something in the a.m. of September 5th, I perceived myself in a wide black space with no apparent edges. I was immersed in pulses of light coming as if from a central point. At 1:10 a.m., I was in a semi-awake state. It seemed to be a Quranic reciting that I was hearing. By 11:15, I rose to an unknown voice, and it changed the music from the musician that is a neighbor to masjid Annoowr. So, in the semi-awake dream and the dream state, it warped into something else from my memory, it sounds like. And then I woke. Oh, the guy's playing music very loud again. That day I listened to the same folder with Al-Quran, Surah 19. The 26th night of Ramadan had Al-Quran 1884 through 2012 and its extended prayers, Taraweeh as-Salah, from 2:50 to 3:30 a.m. of September 6th. I saw the following. I was underwater, but not drowning. Under the water, I swam vertically. It was there that 2 fire beings came to me. Their presence was as 1 to 456 apiece. It was as 1 and 456. I don't know why 456, but that was the physical perception. Their form was like unto eels, but not so. The color of one was like yellow, but not so. The color of the other was as green, but not so. They rotated about me clockwise, as all 3 of us sang. They kept their heads 180 degrees apart at all times. The circle they swam was 24 feet in circumference. They gave off visible charges of electricity. As they looked at me with their peculiarly gentle faces, the pleasant charges went through me. Their combined presence, equaling 912, stayed with me until the vision ended. I think that implies there was more to it, but I couldn't remember it all. After waking, For the final time that day, I listened to Al-Quran, Suratain 4 and 36 of the Pickthall translation, with Al-Quran. The 27th night of Ramadan came with its post-dusk prayer of pauses, Taraweeh as-Salat, including Al-Quran 36 through 3776. September 7th, 2010, had me dreaming of falling petals everywhere. They were of the colors of the rainbow. Their perfume scent wasn't all flowers. I mean that in a sense that it seemed different smells were present. This, like all the listed visions, were between dusk and dawn. And note that I'm editing this sort of live. I don't mind the people who read my papers correcting grammar and spelling errors. That's fine too, or tell me what you don't understand. The prayer after sleep, Tahajjud Salah, included Al-Quran 40 to 41, 6. I missed the group for the final prayer before dawn. After the final waking up, I listened to Al-Quran, Surah 5 of the aforementioned recording. All these days had much discussion. 2009 was the first of 2 years where I was not able to finish Al-Quran in entirety. 40 or so hours with English, too, during the 10 or 11 days. I didn't miss out. I gained thanks to the group activity, if God so willed. The 28th night of Ramadan at Al-Quran 52:36 through 56:16, and its extended prayers, Taraweeh as-Salat, after dusk. The pre-dawn dreams of September 8th, 2010, were full of toothpick-like spokes of light. They were together in a pattern, as if cast in gel or bound as a fence tossed in a storm. No constraint to these spokes was there. The prayer of rising after sleep, Tahajjud as-Salat, included Al-Quran 33, 1 through 38. The day had me listening to Al-Quran Suwar 6, 7, and 99 with the Pickthall translation. The 29th night of Ramadan had Al-Quran 56, 76 through 59, 9 in its prayer of pauses, Taraweeh as-Salat. From 11:55 p.m. on the 8th till 12:30 a.m. The next day, the 9th, I dreamt of cats upon a flat, glossy, and black surface. So, cats aren't as ominous, but or maybe they are, I don't know. But it wasn't, scary, sort of. Oh, the cats are... I don't know. There were 3 more periods of pre-dawn sleep on September 9th, 2010. 12:30 to 1:30 a.m. had me dreaming the same as the first. 1:30 to 3:30 a.m. and 3 to 4:20 a.m. likewise had the same cat dream. Only that 4th period of sleep seemed like a really deep one. That final day of Ramadan had me listening to the 8th surah of Al-Quran from the same folder. When the sun set, I really felt like in some previous years. I knew before it was announced that Ramadan had ended. I'd hoped to gain the 5,000 years of separation from the punishment of the afterlife that 10 years worth of the last third of Ramadan fasting retreats can give. Only God knows how much of this I am to have. The opportunity in Ramadan was over with. However, this year I had a perception of a certain teaching. The fallen angels or fire beings, whatever you want to call them, who would tempt humans are chained, and the gates of the hell realms are closed for the 9th month. At the end of it, these metaphysical devils are allowed to be free, and the gates have been reopened. It is said, are something quite similar in effect. This perception was more than merely emotional. It was like in Aleister Crowley's The Vision and the Voice. In the chapter The 10th Author, Zax, the words of Gronzone to open the outermost abyss, outer darkness, spoken by Adam was Zazaz, Zazaz, Nasatanada, Zazaz. It was like such a dramatic call was being made without me hearing it. The night rolled on like it does, with the special greetings of festivity blessings, Eid Mubarak, between us. And the next time to say it would be after the sunset of the night, next weekend. You know, the 9th of the 12th month. Dusk prayers, Isha, Salat, and preparing Masjid Annoowr for the holiday prayer service. I return to my abode at 10:15 p.m. on Thursday, the 9th of September, 2010, and